So try not to make so much noise.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Heron Heads podcast. My name is Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave and Chris. Jose will be joining us shortly. On behalf of the guys, we want to thank you all for hanging out here with us on the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. The match between Inter Miami and Toronto FC just wrapped up. It ended in a disappointing 1-1 draw. But before we jump into that, we want to give a shout out to our chief Heron Heads, Chow and Mari V. Thank you so much for the continued support. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, you will find a link in the description wherever you are listening. Also, for those of you watching live on YouTube, we do live match reactions after every Inter Miami match. So be sure to check us out there and hit the like and subscribe buttons if you guys enjoy the show. A lot to talk about. Mostly negatives, I think. But how's everybody feeling?
I put the comment up. That was disappointing. There's no way around it. You can't help but feel that way. I mean, a week ago, we weren't feeling like we were going to be struggling against Toronto, a team that still hasn't won a match all year. And it just stinks. Like, this is a team that you should be able to put to bed. I felt like we dominated the game for the most part, as sloppy as we were. And to only come away with one goal, whether it's 2 goals called back because of officiating or just really bad execution in the attacking third, a couple times by Suarez, and Obando at the end there had one. This team needs to kind of put it together because we're too good to be putting up shows like this.
Yeah, it's like Julio, like you said, there wasn't any. It was mostly bads today. I feel like nothing just came together. It was a heavy-ish rotated match by Mascherano. We didn't have our regulars out there. Allende's still not back from that injury, which is very very concerning right now. You know, we're 3 days away from our second leg of CONCACAF. He's still not back, and I didn't like the back line that was out there today. Lujan, he has his flashes every once in a while, but I don't really see a lot from him. I feel like he gets burnt a lot back there. And the pairing of him and Toto just don't do it. I think Falcon is able to mask a lot of the errors that whoever's playing with him makes. And Toto isn't that guy to mask those errors. Toto had an okay match. But yeah, overall, it was a very blah match, for lack of a better term, to be honest.
And not just Falcon being able to erase some errors, but again, another match that we don't have Ustari in goal, and you see the confusion in that back line, and that's why I continue to pound the table that Ustari is probably the biggest beneficiary. Like, he's the biggest beneficiary to this defense is having Ustari back there, because he does have such a good command of that back line that there are very few mental mistakes and communication errors. Whereas today, you have Drake out there, and the only goal that counted on against him was exactly that. It was a miscommunication. I understand it came off of a turnover by Busquets. Oh, George Garriga, thank you. Thank you very
Agreeing
much.
with you right now.
Calendar. I agree. Calendar is a huge liability. We've seen it, but if Ustadi can't go, we haven't seen anything else from Rock. Was it Rocco?
Yeah,
he hasn't done it like that. The couple times we saw him, it was like Calendar, but mini size. That's how it felt for me, at least. And that's not a great endorsement for somebody to displace Calendar as the second keeper. But it's just so disappointing to see the defense when Ustadi's in net come together, wipe out mistakes, and not have the miscommunication errors. And then you see just a wild swing with Calendar and net, and you not only do you have the miscommunications on the back line with him, but the goalkeeping itself is subpar. And you don't know how many times you're constantly holding your breath because you're scared of just a routine play getting through. And even the goal that went through, I feel like Ustadi, even if he's in that same situation, puts up a better effort than just kind of crawling around.
Yeah. sorry, Chris. It just feels like he has such a better command of the penalty area. And Drake, like you said, like you're always nervous. I mean, the last set of corners, it was like Chris said it in the Discord, get me out of here. Like, get me out of here. That's how I felt. And it's like we should have, as Henry's saying here, we should have won, or he's saying they should have won by 3-4, but we should have won by 3-4. Like there was so much opportunity for us to go and take this game and coast, rest Messi for 20 minutes, but we absolutely did nothing. And it starts at the back with Drake. To his credit, he started the game pretty well, made some good saves, actually passed the ball decently well. But over the course of the match, like, it just felt like he never quite was secure with what he needed to be doing. And every time it was like a set piece situation or a scramble situation, it was always really hairy. Instead of catching the ball, he's just parrying the ball all over the penalty box, and it's going to lead to disaster. Hey, Jose.
Look who's here.
Hey, Jose. But that was the other thing. It's like, yes, the goal that was allowed, people can easily say, "Oh, that's not on Drake. The defense was bad." One component is that he doesn't command the back line very well. Another aspect of that is we were extremely lucky that those two balls hit the post. One of them was off of, like you said, he parried it. He just spilled the ball, which was pretty much an easy catch for any goalkeeper around the league. And he got away with a ton of errors. So yeah, the one goal that counted wasn't 100% on him, correct, but it could have easily gotten away from us. And then it's a completely different conversation. It's like, oh man, we failed to execute. No. Not only did we fail to execute, but then they clobbered us on that end. So thank God that we were lucky on the defensive side. We were lucky on the defensive side, and we still came away 1-1.
Yeah, and our really three of our best defensive pieces were out today. Ustari, Falcon, and who do you think I'm going to say?
El Capitán de Grecia.
Noah Allen, baby. Our three, to me, those are our three best defensive pieces this season, and all three of them were out. So that doesn't help in all of this that we're talking about right now, in the cohesiveness of the back line, in just keeping everything kind of calm and settled. That's kind of what we've been seeing the whole season, that some sort of rotation or some sort of mix of those three key defensive players there, and they weren't there today. So obviously that's going to make a big difference here. Like I said, I think it was a heavily rotated match for Inter Miami and Mascherano. But doesn't make an excuse. That's the defensive side. We haven't even touched on the attack yet, because the attack was very, very weak as well. Someone set it up there. I didn't agree 100% with this comment. I agree with a piece of it. Brad said our offense sucks. They keep trying to give and go passes against a compact defense, and it's clearly not working. I don't think our offense sucks. I think our offense is very good, but for some reason we saw it against LAFC, and we kind of saw it tonight too. They congested the center, not as much as LAFC did, obviously, but it was kind of congested. They did keep trying. They did keep trying to make those passes down the center, and it wasn't working. And we just don't have the pieces on the wings to make the proper crosses and the proper plays right now. And I think Allende is a big piece of that.
I'm gonna say we're missing one piece. It's not pieces. Right. We're one player away, and it's very frustrating that we're just one player away, and it's causing this much of an issue. Mm-hmm. That falls on Mascherano. I'm not gonna give him a pass, because we gave Tata hell for not being able to figure things out. This is 2 matches now where teams are clogging up the middle. We have to figure it out. Because if we're just one piece away from making this offense work, then that means this is something they need to take care of. Because you're always one play away from having a player go down. So if one player can derail your offense, then you better have a counterpunch. You got to have another plan of attack, and that's something now we're 2 games into this little stretch of this blueprint that they've shown. Game 3, he has to figure it out. We have to win two. We need 2 goals at least. So he has to figure it out.
Yeah, and it felt for long stretches that it was give the ball to Messi and hope he figures it out and comes up with something magical, which he did on a number of occasions. One of which the goal stood, another of which the goal did not stand. But it can't be that. We're too good. We have too many talented players around the pitch for that to be like the plan. And it's disappointing because Tata did that over and over again.
And look at that one play where everybody was honing in on Messi. It felt like 4 guys crashed on him. He had space, so I think that's why it happened. They reacted that way. Messi had the ball in space, and he was just running up the pitch, and he passed it off to Fafa, and it looked like nobody in their right mind thought that would ever happen. And all 4 players had to turn and be like, "Oh no!" And then nothing came of it. So it is frustrating because yes, there were chances. So maybe they did plan for some things, and also, I mean, the one that hurts me the most is Suarez on an open net. Suarez on an open net, granted, it was a little challenging. Put the ball on frame. All he has to do is tap it, put it on frame, and he couldn't
And
do
that
that.
that one for sure would have been called back because he was so offside, in my opinion, on that play that it would have been reversed even if he scored. But to your point, like he needs to put it on frame, even if you're gonna get called offside. At least show that you still have like the technical ability to put it on frame. And then there was one other thing before we get to this Obando missed opportunity. It'll come to me later. So I guess let's talk about this Obando opportunity. But basically,
just to add, also, you guys were talking about opportunities. We had 2.63 xG compared to the 1.4 of Toronto.
On Apple, it was reversed. On the broadcast, they reversed that. They showed that Toronto's XG was actually higher. And they were saying that their opportunities were really like way more dangerous, even though we controlled play for big stretches. I remember my point, so I'm glad you gave me some stall there, Jose. It feels like Miami has a lot of chances to play balls in behind and allow runners to go in and get it. And we choose a lot of times not to. There was a play specifically where Jordi Alba had a ton of space on the left-hand side. It was like a mid-range pass that would have had to come from about midfield, and Busquets opted not to play it. There was a lot of times where someone was running up the wings, and instead of like playing it in behind, we just opted to like pull it back and maintain possession. And that's really great when you're not having issues on offense. But when you're having issues on offense, you got to try different things. And again, we saw one switch of play today from Frey all the way to Alba. And outside of that, we never tried that again. And it works a lot of times. And we just need to differentiate the strategy and the plan of attack, because what we're doing right now is definitely not working. You're muted, Jose.
I think it's like Mike V said earlier that I think just LAFC played a style of play of just clogging up the middle. And when we see Alba on that left side, we need to let him rip it, man. There's an opportunity also that not that I'm confident would have resulted in anything, but Messi had missed Robert Taylor at one point on the right wing, and man, I mean, he was as open as you could possibly make it, man. Like he was just, it's like I feel like he's like, I'm not passing it to that guy. I don't blame him. I'm not gonna say, but
Messi was like hungry for it tonight, though. He was definitely like shooting at will.
Oh, every time
after that goal, he was on fire. He was super
every time they called the goal back, he's like
He's
got more and more angry,
more possessed.
Yeah, so I guess really quickly to touch back on that Obando play, you could not have asked for a better opportunity for Obando to make an impact as soon as he came on. Toronto went through a stretch of like 3 to 5 minutes where they just consistently kept turning the ball over, and we did nothing with it. And a chance fell to Obando where he gets the ball with wide open space in front of him. He took like 2 or 3 awful touches in a row. Unbelievable. And really, at any point of any of those touches, he could have simply squared the ball over to Messi, who also was in acres of space. He opted to take it himself, which in hindsight, I dislike, obviously. But in the moment, I was like, yeah, you're a striker. Go for it. And you have plenty of space. But he did such a bad job of controlling the ball and giving himself a chance. He even got a second chance because Sean Johnson didn't collect the ball well, but he was stumbling and bumbling all over himself that he couldn't do anything with it. So I didn't hate that he took the chance for himself instead of squaring it to Messi. In hindsight, he should have absolutely squared it to Messi. But man, he completely blew it. Like he had a chance. And as a striker, I don't care if you're young. I don't care if you're just fresh onto the pitch. Like that is, you cannot ask for a better situation to be your first couple of touches. And I was not impressed with that.
You said you don't care if he's young and he's fresh and all that. That was going to be the excuse. I get it. He was point blank. He should have made it. 100% agree with that. But who knows, man? Nerves, the young factor, the new factor, the nerves, all that plays into all that. He probably saw a wide open goal and he's like, "Oh crap!" What? And maybe he froze. Who knows? But he has
I
to make
almost
that.
don't think
100% he has to make that.
I almost don't think it's nerves. I think it was like excitement of like, I can't believe I'm in this situation. Like, this is gonna be awesome. And then it was
his
the
eyes
opposite.
His eyes just got huge. He's like, "Oh my god, here we go."
His eyes
And
dilated, and then there was too much light, and he couldn't tell what was
exactly.
going on.
The bright
I'm
lights.
not ready to say that. It's too early to say we regret it. It was his first
No,
match.
you regret him in that moment.
Maybe
but
a little bit in that moment.
Again, put Suarez in that moment. Like, we saw Suarez fudge to.
He wouldn't have been able to even run into the space.
He probably would have been offside, like Julio said earlier. He's been offside so many times on these types of plays.
Thing is, with Suarez, I mean, I still have excitement when I'm seeing him in those situations. To be honest with you,
Not today.
No, I know, not today. But in general, I feel like he's done a lot for us. Like, I mean, he hasn't been a scrub for us wearing wearing our kits. He has not. I mean, last year he had a fantastic year. Maybe but if you remember last year, he started a little slow as well.
Yeah, but by this time he picked it up already.
Yeah, we're pretty into the season now.
Yeah, by this time, maybe this time last year, like 2-3 weeks ago, he picked it up already.
Also, he looked better last season. He looks worse for wear this season. Not just like with his play, but just him moving out there. He looks worse, and that's not great because he didn't look good last year moving. But he was producing. Now he's producing less and laboring more, which is kind of scary.
I know you guys were talking before about Drake Callender, by the way.
Yeah,
I thought that I should mention. I didn't want to intercept, but you guys were on a roll in that one. But right, this Drake Callender immediately, right? It's funny because one of the things that I've been honing in on every single match he plays. What's the stat that I always look at? Just
passing.
All right,
he was good.
He
was fine this match. He was fine.
Guess where he was.
He didn't
70.
He didn't have many passes though.
87%. 87% total. With 9 out of 9 long balls.
I wonder what they categorize as a long ball.
That, I felt like the thing that we probably hang our hat on with him. I mean, he had a bunch of stops today. I know that we're hating on him, but he had a bunch of stops today.
He needs to catch the stops though.
Correct.
That's my biggest thing with
he's never
today.
Been that way. I agree. I never felt like he always punches it when he should have got it.
That's why he keeps getting all these opportunities for stops because he keeps putting it back on the attack.
Yeah. So
I'm curious of the SofaScore stats, Jose. So after Chris makes his point,
I will say I'm not going to put the blame on today's loss on Callender at all. I think
you're not.
I'm not lost on the tie today. No, I mean it
feels like a loss.
Yeah, it feels like a loss.
It does feel like a loss
with the way that we've been playing. Yeah, but I wouldn't put it on him. He was part of the issue. Obviously we already spoke about all this in length. He was part of the issue, but man, the attack was dead. The defense was lost. It was just overall everybody was kind of crappy today.
I put it on him.
I think ultimately, good portion. Dave, I put it on a lot of the misses that we had today, man. That's what I put it on. We had a lot of misses today. Just like we were in position.
Everything equal. All things being equal, Ustadi and net. Do you think it's the same result?
I think probably. I think, how many goals did we allow?
One goal.
I would also say probably.
Same thing.
I don't think that whole mismatch, and like all that miscommunication happens with Ustadi and net. I don't.
Look, ultimately, like when we lost to LAFC, what was the issue with LAFC? We could not get our offense flowing, man. The same thing happened today, except
today I felt the offense flowed a heck of a lot better.
We just didn't finish. But I felt like we're moving a little bit better because I think we're playing a lesser opponent. However, once we were in position, we just fluttered constantly. And
there was a lot of times where we had a break and it seemed like we were on the front foot and we just it's like a really bad habit that's developing where we have seemingly are in behind or have good number advantage and we just pull it back, stop the play, hold it up, want to possess it.
Who did that a lot today? I'm just
Fafa.
Okay, that's one.
You want me to say Robert Taylor? I didn't even notice him with the ball that much, so I would say Fafa did it quite a few times. Although Fafa did it sometimes when he was like by himself, which is fine.
Look,
But
Robert Taylor today did one of those moves. Well, we'll get more into that one later. Go ahead. You want to get into man of the match?
sure, it was Messi.
Yeah.
Easily Messi.
Who else? Who's the second guy that you would say had a great game?
Bright. Actually, Bright
Yeah.
came in late, so maybe
He
not.
came in too late, but he did
Yeah.
have a good game.
Segovia had a good game.
Jordy,
Jordy had an interesting game. He had a 7.6. He was third behind Boosie. Actually, Boosie had a 7.9 today, and your boy Bright had 7.1 in the short time that he was in.
yeah, he was in for
Yeah,
a very
he
short
was-
time.
But
I
he
think
an
he was
animal, man.
winning balls left and right. It's
Unbelievable.
it's so obvious.
We say the same
It's
thing.
so
every,
obvious.
Superior player.
That's getting frustrating. I know that we were rotating for obvious reasons, but it's like after this midweek match, if Bright isn't ahead of Redondo every single match, I'm gonna start asking a few questions.
Mhm.
he doesn't. We said it on our Discord, which anyone who's not in it, obviously sign up to be part of it. We're always talking through the match, our quick thoughts. When we were, I believe it was David that said that he looks kind of he's running scared, right? He's not necessarily confident today. Like there was a point where it was just him and Luis Suarez. I don't know if you guys remember the play where they were at the top of the key, kind of top of the just outside the hash mark, and he's there playing back and forth. When he had a lane, he could have just taken it and gone for the shot, and he decided to give it to Luis Suarez. He just ran like nonchalant, like he didn't want the ball. It felt like,
I don't know if that's the same. I don't know if that's the same play, but the play that Redondo was kind of just staring out into space somewhere, and he clearly had a lane right in front of him to make the run. And for some reason that who knows why, he was just staring somewhere and he wasn't paying attention, or I don't know what he was doing. Yeah, and he missed a perfect lane to have a scoring chance. And those are the kind of things that he needs to do that he's just not doing it. I don't understand. The things that we saw before he got here, and even when he got here, the first maybe, I don't know, half of the season that he was here, we saw some really, really nice plays and bright spots and potential from him. And now he's just like, it's just another guy out there, and it's frustrating to see that.
Yeah, and it's not just like lack of confidence on offense, but turnovers all the time, man. He always seems to be chasing plays on defense. He got lucky not to get called for a card when he just threw his elbow at the Toronto player. I don't know what is going on with him. He was, like you said, Chris, he came in and he was fine when he first joined the club. Then he got that injury, and since then, never even got back to that level when he initially joined the club.
And I thought when he got in, he was a little bit. There's a little surge, or like
There's a little swag to him, right? Like he came in and he's like, "Oh, like I'm, Redondo, the legacy player."
This
Yeah,
has been a disappointing signings thus far. I think
And
at
there
this
was-
point we can say it. At this point,
And there was also that
and people keep clamming that he sucks, but like Mike V just said, like I think most of the fan base agrees at this point. But I never want to like say that like bust or not, because like he has time to figure it out. Like Gomez looked like a bust right away. This guy looked terrible, but he got going, he got better. They're very young guys.
And there was also that rumor that he wasn't happy here, like that
Oh,
he wanted out after last season, and it's rough. That's like the first time in the Messi era that you hear anything like that.
That is the first time I hear, because it's not like he doesn't have maybe last year because he had Data, right? And Data, I think, to be honest, Data favored for sure Bright over Redondo flat out.
He did late because Redondo became what he became, a liability.
Yeah.
You can't see Bright play the way he does, and with any kind of right mind, be like, okay, Redondo, I favor him more. Like you just can't do it. You just can't. When somebody is out there fighting for it every second that they're on the pitch, that's endearing not only to the manager but to the club. Everybody around him wants to play with that.
It's not the same thing at all, but it was interesting because I'm going to bring up something from last year's season of the podcast, and that you guys hated, and I just loved it. In the documentary that we watched, that we all watched, right? They talked about it was the Beckham one on Netflix, and they talked about how he wasn't really excited at all about playing with the LA Galaxy, right? And how Donovan, he loved playing for the Galaxy. So every time Beckham would be playing at AC Milan, I think it was in that period, um, he would just consistently be saying like just talking bad about LA Galaxy and just like trying to get out every opportunity with loans or whatever the case may be. So when he finally played for the LA Galaxy, they had a lot of bumping of heads, and it's like you're kind of seeing that kind of right now with Bright and Redondo, right? Where Bright, this is his like Manchester United was Beckham's thing, right? And LA Galaxy was Donovan's thing, and the manager sat them both down and said, "Listen, respect this guy. This is what he loves. You respect this. You have to understand that this is Donovan's all-time thing." So it's almost like if Redondo kind of sees it the same way as Beckham once did, right? Where it's like it's just the MLS ultimately, and I'm not really what am I doing here? Maybe he's getting that kind of like because if he's not happy, why wouldn't he not be happy?
He's not gonna go anywhere with the way he's playing.
I was just gonna say he's gonna get sent back to Argentina at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, all the talk was, oh, he's our next European guy, and he hasn't shown crap. Bright's gonna be in Europe before him at this point.
That'd be something. I agree.
Well, that's gonna happen.
I agree. Yeah, that's that's an interesting one in the bottom. Gresso.
Why don't you click on it?
Yes,
Unbelievable.
I didn't want to be rude. I don't know if someone else clicked on that one. All right, so Gresso will be warming the bench permanently. I agree. Like at this point, I don't know what. Like he must have like a little reserve sign on the little, on a chair in the. I can only imagine he just like.
Gressel's not on the team for all intents and purposes. Gressel's not part of this team.
Well, but let's play the game in the world. Let's live in that world where he's just sitting down, just like chilling. He's just like having a little. He's following Messi around, having his little tea with him. He just like,
I don't think they have any use for him. They don't rate him. He's not part of this club.
But you know what? I feel like it's hard to plug him in right now. It really is. But with everyone clogging the middle, I think might be the perfect one to cross.
It's so fun. I love it when he would whip it in. You're saying?
Oh yeah, that was going to be my point. That it's we need someone to be able to whip it in, to do these crosses and to get around this low block that these teams are playing. And is it Gresso or not? I don't know, but that's kind of. Yeah, but that's kind of the style of play that we need.
Is RT the guy? Is he the guy? Because he's getting minutes.
No, definitely not the guy.
Which brings us up to the least of the match.
Robert Taylor's part of the club. In my mind, Gresso's not there. He's not even. He doesn't exist.
Let's talk about the club. Least of the match. Who was it?
Redondo.
All right, good one.
It should be Redondo.
Next.
It was Robert Taylor because of Jose's smirk that he has on his face.
Why? But let's not play that game. Who do you think it was?
I'm just reading your face.
Lujan had a stupid game, 7.1. Toto, pretty whatever, 7.2. Ian Frey, 7.
It has to be Robert Taylor. He was only in for a half.
We've been hating on him the whole podcast, 7.1. But our boy Robert Taylor, 6.5. Just kicking.
That just means he played.
Names.
That's like your base rating. 6.5 is
he just stepped on and didn't do anything else the rest of the game.
He didn't do anything, and he was subbed at halftime.
Look, and I'm just talking crap. But ultimately, like it's one of those things where, like, what'd you guys see from him today?
Robert Taylor?
He played only a half. He didn't do anything.
I can make an assessment on that. Look,
I didn't see anything. Look, I didn't see anything. What I did see, and I'm gonna say it, Messi missed him wide open, and I think he should have in that moment. He should have passed it to Robert Taylor. He didn't really make anything out of that play. Robert Taylor was on his right, I believe it was, just wide open. Whether maybe he didn't see it, maybe he just didn't want to pass it to him. Whatever that may be, he was there. Is that saying something about Robert Taylor? Maybe if he did see him. So that's just that's really the only time I saw Robert Taylor in a position to do something, and he didn't really get the chance.
He's filling his gaps at least. Like look at us complaining about Redondo not going into space, not being where he needs to be. At least Robert Taylor, in the short time that he was in there, was in the right spot. Yes, he got the ball didn't go to him. So how are you going to rate him for anything?
No, I don't agree. I think
the ball didn't go to him. The ball went to him there.
Yes, there's no, not there, not there. There is a portion of the first half.
There was one play where he
And I
tried
even
to
said
get
on the
fancy.
Discord for everyone who's on the comments on the Discord, I mentioned I was like, I love it when the game is just flowing through Robert Taylor. It was like a whole like 10 minutes of our attack. It was just Robert Taylor. Oh, let's go right wing, boom. Oh yeah, let's go. Let's keep going that way. And it would just this is exactly how it would go. He would go all the way up to the pitch, go into the right corner, and say, "Oh, okay, let me go pass it over here," and that's what he would do. It never went anywhere further.
I think this brings up a bigger point and a bigger issue that we have on this team. We have no right wing, and we were talking about it earlier. With Allende out, we have no right wing. There's no backup right wing on the team. Who do we have? Robert Taylor, Fafa. They're not right wingers. Fafa plays so much better on the left, and Robert Taylor has historically been a left winger. And when they're out there, they don't do anything. We've seen Fafa not do absolutely nothing against LAFC and tonight. And Robert Taylor, we're talking about him right now. He did absolutely nothing. Someone put up a comment a little while ago. That's why I brought it up. But Taylor was on the right wing. Why is he here? Useless there. Exactly. And I think Fafa is the same exact conversation as Robert Taylor. He's useless on the right wing. He doesn't do anything on the right wing. I need to see Fafa on the left wing.
It's like he had a clipped wing on that side. He just couldn't like throw it into the pit of players. Just like I did understand that. But that was also a thing. Like, I did see it from Alba on the left wing, though. It's funny he's not the left wing, but he basically is. I did see it a few times where he never did he never did it over the top, but he did a lot of ground passes to the middle, and a lot of precision in those passes, and those are always fun. None of them clicked, honestly. None of them actually got into anywhere that was scary. But I don't know. I don't know what's up with him too. You know what I mean? Because he's one of those guys that he can break. He helps break down those low blocks. Because guys, this isn't a first for us. They were doing this all year last year. That low block, they were clogging the middle. This is nothing new. What is new is we have a lot of new players. Okay, so I guess we need to play with them, and we need to be tighter with our passes, a lot more tiki-taka in those situations, and then work our way to a goal, because that's basically what they want to do. They don't want to have an open scrimmage with us guys. They do not want it. They already saw we have not lost a game in MLS, right? That's what people have been saying. I don't know. Is that still the case? It is, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That we have not lost the game.
MLS.
Oh, we're unbeaten in the MLS though.
So like, I'm sure people are going to change it up. They're like, okay, well, let's see. Let's try something different. I mean, and it seems to work right now. It seems to work. So we just have to reconfigure. I think it was last year where teams were starting to press us high, right? And that was one of the adjustments that they did against us, and it was working.
Yeah, because we kept turning the ball over every 2 seconds.
So it's constant flow of the season. We're gonna be seeing this throughout the season. And it's better. You know what I'm telling you? It's better that it happens now, because we have a lot of tournaments this year that I want to win. It starts LAFC now.
We need to. The thing is, the problem is we need to figure it out now. We have Wednesday, and that's it. If not, we're gonna get kicked out. So we need to figure it out now. We have 3 days to do it, and it's on Mascherano right now. Figure it out. Allende's hurt. We get it, but next man up or change your tactics. You got to figure it out at the end of the day.
That's what Henry's saying. I don't know. Like I saw today the way he was playing. I don't know if it was a frustration that time that he like on his goal. This guy was on fire today, man. He was just and Henry, you had said talk about Messi's goal. Which one? Because like I know we are the other one that was called back was I thought that was incredible. It was
an incredible goal. It was a weak callback. I get it. He clipped the guy's foot and all of that, but come on, man. You got to let him play on that one.
It's brutal.
But he got his revenge. His second goal, his only goal of the match was it was perfect. It was perfectly played. Alba passed it to the middle. He passed it over to Messi, and he was able to really hit a beautiful shot to the defender's legs to the left corner. So it was beautiful. It was classic Messi, and it was the only spark. And he just really it was a relief from him. He just let it all out, and he was frustrated. He was frustrated at the end of the day because the refs were being ridiculously annoying tonight.
It was rough officiating. I felt like, especially
It's MLS officiating for us. I don't know what's going on, but every single match, it doesn't seem like it's being called evenly. And we said in Discord, we hate to be like that. We don't want to be bitching and moaning about the officiating,
It's
but
not fair. Yeah,
it's
just
it's
felt
hard
that
to
way.
not feel that way. It's every, like, look at the yellow on Segovia today, where he just kind of bumped a guy, a normal challenge, and he gets a straight yellow for that. And that's, I mean, I get it, it's a common foul, but to get a yellow on in that spot of the pitch for that kind of a foul, it just seems excessive. Like, they're very, very hyper aware of everything Inter Miami does, and these guys were fouling us left and right. Like, there were possessions that ended on foul. Suarez getting called for a foul on attack, Fafa on an attack allegedly fouling somebody, and even the announcers don't really, they're just ho hum about it. Oh yeah, whatever. And then anytime the Inter Miami fouls somebody, it's the end of the world. Like, I get it, there's some world class players on this team, but it's an entire group out there, and they're not all world class. And even world class players foul and can get fouled. And it just seems that everybody, officiating, commentators, everybody holds Miami to a higher standard,
But
and that's not fair.
like the one that was that actually Boosie had to do a quick start because he didn't want he had to rush it so that the handball that was on so that they don't try to discontinue
Mhm.
the actual goal that we got. Like that's how we have to play.
I don't even
Yeah.
know if that was true.
No, it was that was a different play because the one that the before our goal was a different handball. It happened like 2 minutes before the freaking goal happened,
Right.
and they still went to check it out, and they ended up not calling it. But you know what it is to go back. I mean that was, it was a couple minutes, a minute or two before we
That was the
scored. Yeah,
Lujan
that was the
one.
Lujan handball. He was kind of doing this, and the ball hit him. But you know what it is to go back that much to look at that? That's insane.
Well,
And
they
then the
were
one
gonna
that
do it
Jose's
again.
saying, yeah, and then the one that Jose was saying is exactly that. Boosie had that intelligence to just go quick, run the play, and just keep
And it was a
keep on
turnover.
going.
There's an
Right,
instant turnover.
instant turnover, but
The
hey,
goal stood.
it helped. It saved a possible other goal. So smart by him.
Yeah. There is remember that pass that Messi got in that first half that it was called back. I forgot who was the one that scored it. It was called off.
No,
But
Segovia. Segovia had the goal.
Yeah,
that he the way he passed it, did you see the curve that he went like right around, like the little defender was right here, he was right here, he passed it around this guy
He
to
bent
get
it
this
like that
moment.
movie where they bend the bullets.
Bro, it
yeah.
looked like he bent the bullet. Like it was incredible. That and on his actual and the curved shot that he made, say like he bent that so well. It looked beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, this it's why it's frustrating, because we actually did see the ball go hit the back of the net. Like,
Three
Toronto
times.
had chances, but the ball never hit the back of the net. We had chances, and the balls hit the back of the net, as well as chances that didn't hit the back of the net. But damn it, we saw the ball go in. So you
Yeah.
feel like when you're constantly watching the ball hit the back, that you're like, man, this is our game. We're gonna continue scoring, and to only come away with just the one, it's pain. It's just pain.
Yeah.
Me now, I wouldn't say that. It's obviously frustrating for officiating to have that impact on a game, and you score three goals, and then all of a sudden, like, um, you feel like you got stolen a game, right? But it's a beautiful game. Ultimately, I wouldn't let today officiating get to you, because ultimately it happens in every sport that we watch. You should hear David talking about the football teams that he follows. It's always somebody else's fault. Never never his never never the quarterback, never the wide receiver that dropped the ball. Officiating, what happened
That
there?
never happens. Wide receiver dropping the ball. But Myrna, also, you have to remember, we're kind of going through a rut right now. So one goal scored in the last two matches, that doesn't typically happen with this club.
Never.
When we're hitting our stride, despite the poor officiating, it's still a heck of a lot of fun, especially when you have guys like Messi out there having fun. Today was a frustrating match. You're seeing him mad. You're seeing him frustrated. That's not,
He
even
cares.
though frustrated Messi can still do
Light
magic,
it up.
but when you watch Messi out there having fun with his guys out there, that's really, really a good time. And just unfortunately, it was that's not what we got tonight. But hopefully, in a match that matters, granted not an MLS match, but still a match that really matters on Wednesday, we get to see these guys having fun.
Yeah, because what I was gonna say is just to kind of tie the ball on this officiating thing. On Wednesday, I was super pissed off at the refs. We all were, but I still think we lost that match. The team lost
Correct.
that match,
And that one
regardless of the
they let it
officiating.
play.
They,
It wasn't
yeah,
lopsided, It was
right,
just they just said hands off. We're not really calling it off.
I prefer
right.
it that way, but that doesn't go well for us though, because unfortunately, like I don't think we're built that way. Like if we had a bunch of brights and totos out there and redondos, then yeah, let's run that style of play. But we really don't. Like unfortunately, like Messi gets hit hard, he's falling. That's it. That's happening. It happens to Redondo. He may not fall. I'm gonna be honest with you. You might fall. But yeah. But by the way, I don't know if we ran through this one. I know we posted, but I don't think we talked about it. Messi has confidence to take chances that others won't. It's funny, like I've always felt that ever since we got him. But I think it's also because the bar's so high with him that like the chances that he takes are like no one would ever take that. And
But he's not scared.
What did we have last year that would take the chance? You're like what
Rojas, Matias Rojas didn't hesitate to take outside the box shots, and that's one way we kind of got around beating the low block was when
Correct.
people feared an attack from outside the box. Until others are willing to take that shot, they're going
We
to
had
continue to
somebody
clog.
today.
Segovia does it. Segovia does it. Segovia is not scared of taking. Oh yeah, Todo. He's
Total
normal.
today, just
Hold
like
on, and Cello. And Cello.
Yeah.
Even Cello got in on it.
Cello's gonna fire no matter what,
Cello, that was the best part. Cello, it was off of a set piece, so he takes that shot off the left at the left corner of the box. The goalkeeper catches it and immediately realizes, oh, that side of the pitch is wide open because you shot it from the other side.
There you
And
go.
oh my god, I was like clenching the butthole so tight.
Yep.
There's another play, and I'm just firing off right now, and this is the best. This is when we're in the groove in this podcast. When I'm just firing off from the hip. There was a play today that I could have sworn.
This is what happens when Julio's not here.
Yeah, you guys are in for it. So there's a play that Messi had a beautiful. And I'm gonna contrast this play, right? This is the good part. I'm gonna go to the bad part. So. And this all ties into the question of Messi has the confidence that others won't, right? Let's get into that. So today Messi had a chance on the left side, right by the goalie. Remember, guys? And I don't know if it was a corner kick. I don't know what happened, but he just happened to find the ball. Just him, defender, and goalie behind him. He does something. He gets around the defender like if nothing happened. It was an easy tussle. It wasn't even a tussle, to be honest. He just went boop, boop, he went right around them. The guy, I think, fell actually. And then he fired a rocket into the goalkeeper's face. That guy had to be concussed. You guys recall what I was talking about?
Yeah, I mean, apparently he wasn't concussed because he played out the match and he played well.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Gotta
And
hit him
then
harder
on the
next
other
time.
side, and then the bad one where somebody has the confidence. Robert Taylor on the right side. Let me tell you what he does. He tries to pull off a skill move on the same exact style, just on the right side. Do you guys remember what happened there?
No, tell us.
He dribbled it out of bounds. So that's the contrast. That's the world class player that we have.
Yeah.
And
So point of the story is Messi is much better than Robert Taylor. I got it.
That's why it's one of those things where
What kind of a point is that?
But that's the fact, David. That's the fact. That's why he won't take. That's why others won't take those chances. They won't take
That's
those
the fact for everybody on that pitch for both sides of the ball.
What's that meme? I don't have the facilities, big man. They don't have the facilities.
Jesus.
Okay.
Let us sit there.
Oh,
I agree. Did he play today? Let's put that on the banner on the bottom. Bam. Oh, damn. I pressed the right. All right.
Robert Taylor. All right. So let me get a reins on this thing because the whole just going on rants here. Let's look at the conference standings and Supporters Shield after a weekend of MLS play. So we lost our first place spot in both Supporters Shield and Eastern Conference. Columbus is up in the Eastern Conference right now, just a point away, but they're up there, 15 points to 14 that we have, and right behind us is Philly and Charlotte at 13. So it's super close right now. No one's run away with it. It's still early on in the season, obviously, but it's a close one. And then the Supporters Shield, we lost it to a bunch of people, to be honest, but it's still close. Vancouver's up there at 16, and then the clubs that I just mentioned, 15, 14. So it's a still close one. We have to get a hold of this CONCACAF tournament real quick this week, and then continue to battle in the MLS, because we just can't, we're still up there, we're good, but we can't let go of the grip that we have of those top 5 spots. But yeah, next up is CONCACAF leg number 2 against LAFC here in Fort Lauderdale at Chase Stadium. That match is, I believe, at 8:00 p.m. Eastern. So we will obviously be doing a match reaction right after that. I don't know if we're going to be doing a preview. We'll let you all know. We'll post it everywhere on our socials. If you do not follow us at the Heron Heads everywhere on X, Instagram, Twitter, or I already said Twitter, X, whatever, TikTok, and all of that good stuff. Everybody, if you're still here watching, we appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. It is free to you. It helps us out a ton. So we'll appreciate it. Guys, do you have anything else to add? Yeah, you do. Say it, Jose. You wanted to say something.
I kind of liked what Henry was saying about, but we kind of already touched about it. We kind of already touched on that. We're not in a positive mind against LAFC coming up. Yeah, I mean, we touched on it a little bit, Henry, before, but obviously it's a really it's not ideal going into a elimination game when you're down 1-0 and you are not and you're not flowing at all offensively. It's not the way I want to go into that match, but it's where we are. And if you look, just probably 8 podcasts away, like before from now, like
we just have the one. We just have the one podcast.
Right, one podcast, just 8 shows back. I mean, I'm pretty sure this was the cocky Miami fan base was out with their chests out, and that was zapped 2 games ago.
I'm not willing to say that the mindset is eliminating us right now. This team can score in bunches when it's clicking, so I'm not ruling it out just because we had a couple bad matches. Even today was a stinker, and we could have really scored 4 goals on this guy. So I'm not ruling anything out yet for Wednesday. But I think we can end it on that note. I know Chris already gave you guys the spiel. Follow us on all the todas las redes sociales, and yeah, we'll see you guys on Wednesday at least.
See ya.
Bye.